Whatever journey you embark on with your family, Jennian Homes would love to partner with you to build a home you'll be proud to own. Jennian Homes, New Zealand's most awarded and trusted home builder.
Lincoln University. The future belongs to the relevant. With industry-specific knowledge, hands-on experience and world-leading research, Lincoln graduates are relevant today and ready for tomorrow. Lincoln University. Apply now.
The lifeblood of a city is its people. People provide the character and the energy of a city. O Tautahi, Christchurch, our city, is founded on the spirit of exploration. It is embedded in our city's DNA. Our history has been shaped by it. Our present is built upon it, and our future will be created by it. Christchurch has always been about new beginnings, explorers, innovators, and people doing things differently. Our people are explorers, challenging the status quo, exploring ideas with impact and shaping our future. Our city is creative, organic, and evolving. It is a place to grow, connect, and find balance. Explore our past, our present, and our future. Explore O Tautahi, Christchurch.
This Athletics New Zealand event is proudly brought to you by Jennian Homes.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Champs here in Christchurch 2019 edition, the 120th time this event has been run. And so there on the field, on the track, we have the first of the heats of the men's under 18 1500 metres, where we have, I'm just trying to get the correct start list. So up the front we have Will Anthony and Andre Hernandez leading the way. There are two heats, so this is the first of two. So it'll be the top four advance and the next four advance. So these two just making the pace nice and honest. Doesn't need to be quite this quick, but they want to make sure it's a sure thing. And then we've just got a little bit of a program. So a lot of action to come this morning. Yesterday was action just thick and fast, especially last night with some brilliant 100-metre finals. So here we go, the last lap.
So Will Anthony and
these two, Will Anthony and Andre Hernandez, with a good solid 40 metres on the field. And behind them is a pack of about 6 runners as they go past us. So Will Anthony looking nice and comfortable. These two barely even puffing as Will Anthony just pulls away from the Manawatu Wanganui green singlet of Andre Hernandez. So these two looking to cruise their way as they come into the home straight in this first heat of the 1500 metres.
Obviously going for those qualifying positions.
But look behind them, this is where the action's going to come from. So securing this top four, these two don't need a kick. They can relax and cruise home. They've got it nice and safe. So Andre Hernandez just gauging his energy well. And then these next three coming through, we'll try and get a word on who that was. We've got so we can confirm that Mason Waterworth was one of that top four. Andre Hernandez, Will Anthony, and we'll try and find out who was the fourth across the line to get that auto qualify. And then it's the next four qualify. So a lot of this, we won't be getting rid of too many people in these heats with 16, and we need to cut that down to 12 for the final.
12.75 takes him into third. So the previous third place getter now in fourth, Takunda Mabonga, is now coming into jump. Has a best of 12.69 in this series. Oh no, he's got 12.79, sorry. So they're both on now 12.79, sorry. I missed that one, 12.79. Heat 2 of the men's 1500 metres about to go to their marks. We have
so here we have the men's under 18 triple jump on screen. We have Takundu Mabonga of Southland, 17 years old. He's got a seed jump of 13.06, which puts him sort of midway in this field. If we just go through the start list, we have Joshua Bull of Canterbury, Samuel Collier of Southland, Tiaki Lenoir of one of our international athletes, Imagine from Tahiti, Thomas Fletcher of Canterbury, Takunda Mambongo on we just had on screen from Southland, Troy McGillicuddy of Canterbury, Charles Annals from Waikato Bay of Plenty, Charles Devlin from Auckland, and Sam Cole. All right, so we are off on the second heat of our 1500 metres. And we have James Blake from Canterbury, Zach Bellamy from Manawatu Wanganui, Ethan Smolledge from Canterbury, Andre Lapine Day, Manawatu Wanganui, McCullum Rowe, and Ben Boudoir of Waikato Bay of Plenty, Jude Darby of Auckland, and Alex Chiefitz of Southland.
And currently in second, Samuel Collier coming into jump. Last round, his best so far, 13.13.
So again, this is the second heat of two. Top four will go through automatically. And
so that's McCullum Rowe from Taranaki.
Then the next four fastest will also go through. So leading out at the moment, we've got McCullum Rowe of Taranaki, not being afraid to push the pace. As we welcome back Hamish Meacham to the commentary booth.
I'm back and I see once again one of the talented young distance runners from Manawatu Wanganui stalking the lead. Is that Andre Lapine Day there in second heat?
Yeah, just in second place, I believe so.
Yeah, fantastic. Or
it could be Zach Bellamy as our other Manawatu Wanganui. We'll try and get a...
Well, there's so many talented youngsters.
You're right.
So many talented youngsters out of that region that it's easy to get them mixed up. So apologies to any parents, family, loved ones tuning in if we misidentify one of your runners. We're trying our best, but all go this morning, Hayden. These 1500s are looking pretty solid so far.
Yeah, so the last one was strung out. We had two leaders who wanted to make it a sure thing and book their place in the final.
Yeah, they did very well.
Yeah, and this one is sort of the opposite, really.
A little bit more subdued.
We've got McCullum Rowe, the 16-year-old out of Taranaki. He's leading the way. But certainly the pack not afraid to stay with him. And as we come through 2 laps, what are we at? About 2:24. So
4:30 pace. Wow, that's really slow. Keep an eye on Jude Darby out of Auckland, runs for the North Shore Bays Club. Very well coached by Paul Hamlin. He's had a fantastic summer so far, Jude Darby, and there's big raps on this kid. Of course, you would know Paul Hamlin as fourth place finisher at the 2006 Commonwealth Games. More recently, a very accomplished coach, has a great squad up there at the AUT Millennium with the North Sport Academy. So, you know, you shouldn't pick a winner, but I'm going to say Jude Darby. I'm pretty confident he's going to go through here. Keep an eye on that Canterbury athlete. Canterbury known for producing quality distance runners. That's Ethan Smolledge.
Yeah, so now the pace going on as they come up to get the bell, and you can see a real urgency in their strides. A little bit of tussling.
The Taranaki runner, McCallum Rowe, doing a fantastic job from go to woe. He's not gonna let him pass. Not gonna let anyone pass him easily. Bespectacled, shorter athlete.
So Ethan Smolledge on the outside, really laying this down. He's put in a big surge.
Alex Jeffetts in second, Jude Darby in third. How many automatically through, Hayden?
So 4 go through automatically, and then the 4 fastest qualifiers. So I imagine if this race is looking a little bit slower than the previous, I believe.
1:20 to go. Jude Darby looking back behind him, seeing how close everyone is. He doesn't want to get caught up in a finish. There's 5 for 4 automatic spots. Darby, Jeffetts, looks like Ethan Smolledge.
Yeah, and Ben Beddoe as well coming through, and the Canterbury athlete there just missing out on the auto qualifier, but we'll wait and see how that stacks up.
Closed in about 62 seconds there, so pretty brisk finish for those athletes, but comfortably qualifying. Jude Darby, one of the favourites to keep an eye on for the final, which will take place tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, McCallum Rowe doing all that work early on to lead the race, and then coming through in 6th place. So hopefully his hard work has earned him a spot in the final. All right, so we've got a result to tick off. Before our coverage picked up, we had the 100-metre hurdles under 18 women's heats. So let's just rifle through the...
Let's go through the qualifiers. Hinawai Knowles qualifying, fastest qualifier out of the Cambridge Club in the Waikato Bay of Plenty colours, 14.55. Tapanisa Javier, one of the most talented all-rounders from Canterbury. Tara McNally of Otago. Samadiana Farras of Auckland. Alan Carter of Auckland City Athletics. Maddie Wilson of Hawke's Bay Gisborne. And Julia Bernard of Canterbury. Rounding out the field, we've got Jurian Foray, also of Auckland. So some great young hurdling talent. I know I've mentioned it before, Hayden, but hurdles is one of the events that New Zealand is really trying to focus in on. We'd love to see more young athletes hurdling. We think it's a great pathway to potential international competitions, making New Zealand teams, etc., etc. So if you're a young athlete out there listening, particularly if you tend to be musical or have good rhythm and good coordination, hurdling might be a good entry point into the sport for you. Hayden, pole vault, we've got the starting height for the senior men, 3:45.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is going to be a key competition to follow this morning. As always with any athletics event, there's always exciting things going on in every corner of the, well, I think it was 5:26, I believe, Nicholas Southgate jumped on Wednesday. So at the Lincoln University Street Athletics event that was held earlier in the week. So the pole vaulting brought to you by Access Man. And as they just get the heights right on this bar. So it looks like they are set at 3:45.
Field events starting at 10 o'clock is the senior men's pole vault. Etienne Dupree from Auckland, Max Atwell.
And so we've got a very special guest sitting down with Hayden now. So board member of Athletics New Zealand, Chris Meister, is going to join Hayden in the commentary booth for a little while. So Chris is going to, well, Hayden's going to ask Chris a few questions about his role with the board of athletics, in fact, the role of the board, and Chris has an interesting and varied history in sports. So like to introduce Chris Maister, board member of Athletics New Zealand. Grab that and put those over.
Oh, well, welcome to the coverage, Chris.
Thanks very much.
Good to have you in the little commentary booth. Now, before we kind of get into your role with Athletics New Zealand currently, what's your background with athletics? Fill us in.
My background was not particularly meritorious. I came into athletics particularly in the governance role on the board about nearly 5 years ago. As a sports person myself, athletics was an important part at school. In terms of mainly the longer distances, cross country in particular, but
great.
Not post school because other sport took over, and I concentrated on, in particular, hockey in my instance. So as a member of the board of athletics, I'm still on a steep learning curve in terms of the sport itself. But a weekend like this, a nationals event like this, is a fantastic way to learn very quickly and to see all the tremendous young athletes that we've got in New Zealand.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, one of the things that we've been commentating about this weekend already is the variety of athletes. You know, it's almost like a rugby field where you've got the big tall high jumpers, and then you got the big strong shot putters and discus throwers, and then the more wiry distance runners, and so it does suit so many different body types and also passions. You know, if you're a solitary type, maybe the distance running is your thing. If you like the spotlight, the sprints might be your thing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's very noticeable as I've just been doing a circuit of the perimeter of the track and so on, and as you say, you're walking past discus throwers and who are in a completely different shape from the people doing the pole vault and so on. And so you're quite right. It does suit a variety of body shapes, types, and that's the beauty of it. It doesn't matter whether you're small or big. There's probably something for you, some event that you can really excel in if you work and put the hours in.
Absolutely. Great. And so your role with Athletics New Zealand, do you want to explain what that involves?
Yeah, well, the role of the board is to, and I came into the board as an independent member, and as I mentioned, I didn't come from an athletics background. I came from a hockey background, and I'd been on the board of Hockey New Zealand, so I was familiar with governance, and that's what the board is about. It's setting policies, setting strategies, trying to give a bit of a roadmap for the people who run the sport, and that's the Athletics New Zealand team, and hopefully putting things in place for them, and then reviewing constantly to see we're on the right track.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we see Edward Hsing opening up the competition in the pole vault, just missing his first attempt there at 3:45. So what's sort of on the horizon? What exciting sort of things can we look forward to in the world of athletics in New Zealand?
Well, I mean, I guess publicly there's always the visible events like the Olympics, the Commonwealth Games, the leagues, the leagues that these guys take part in around the world. That's the high-profile stuff that people see all the time, but the things that are really important to athletics are also those things that happen every week at club level, and the people that toil away here endlessly, providing opportunities for athletes to come through. So the community sport and club level stuff is very, very important to us.
Absolutely. And it is one of those things if you ask different people involved with athletics, what's the mission of Athletics New Zealand, there's probably going to be, as many responses to that answer as there are members in the organisation, whether it's to win medals at major championships or whether it's to get 5-year-olds active and teaching them to throw and jump and run. So
well, there's probably the ones that are the programs that are known well are run, jump, throw, get, set, go, and those sort of things, and they start at a very young level. And if we can engage with kids and keep them engaged through those years, particularly transitioning from we've probably got a good chance of, well, we'd like to think we've got a good chance of keeping them in the sport, giving us a wider base of people to choose our high performance athletes from. And but it's not all about high performance. We do have a policy of a whole of sport policy, which means that we've got to look right across the whole spread of people involved in our sport and try and broaden the number of people that are engaged with us.
Absolutely. And I often use, that iceberg analogy where your Nick Willis's and your Valerie Adams and Tom Walsh's, they stand on the tip of that iceberg, but propping up that iceberg underneath is, the hundreds of officials we've got here making this event happen. The kids out there doing their athletics and providing that competitive environment from which the champions of tomorrow can emerge from. So,
well, I mean, here we are looking at an event that takes, roughly around 150 volunteers to run properly.
Yeah.
And most of those people are giving up giving up their own time. It'll probably involve being away off work if they're still working on Friday. Accommodation, travel. They get some assistance, but by and large they're funding themselves.
Yeah.
And that is colossal. If you organise, for example, a game of hockey, you need a few officials, a couple of umpires, and others to make sure the sport is safe and everything. But this is just at a different level, and I don't think a lot of people realise just how much.
So Edward Hussain approaching the bar again and unsuccessful one more time. Yeah, it is a phenomenal effort, and yesterday when we were greeted with a howling southerly and pouring rain, it was sort of just one of those moments where everyone kind of needed to pitch in and set up tents and wipe down surfaces, and it's like mobilising a small army, really.
It is like mobilising a small army, and I think this year is. We always have to work hard to get the number of volunteers and officials for a big event like this, and we were helped with 11 people that came across from Australia, volunteered to come across and take part.
And we greeted with them with a nice old South Island southerly.
Yeah, we gave them a bit of a taste of Christchurch, but I mean, that's hopefully today we'll get through with a nice day. I think the athletes are pretty tolerant, and I think the big thing for them is not to have too much wind, obviously. And so far it's nice and calm today, and long may it continue.
Yeah, it's a little bit of sunshine breaking through the clouds occasionally. Oh, and this time Edward clearing successfully. He's happy with that one. Gets the first successful jump on the board in our senior men's pole vault competition. Also coming up on the track shortly, we're going to have heats of the senior men's 1500 metres. So this is an exciting one to watch. We've got the Olympian Hamish Carson in the start list, but also a whole host of exciting, particularly young talent coming through. So eyes on the track very soon. So that's going to kick off at 10 past 10, I believe, is the first race. Oh, here we go. We are live, so I will quickly run through the start list. So Logan Roger of Waikato Bay of Plenty, Jared Monk of Otago. Oh, these are the results from the men's under 18. So this is the final lineup going through to the final, which will be tomorrow. So Jude Darby, Will Anthony, Alex Chiefetz, Andre Hernandez, Ben Bedeau, Liam Back, Bellamy Zach, William Scarf, Mason Waterworth, and hopefully you caught the last of those. All right, so let's go through the lineup for the first of these heats, the senior men's 1500 metres. We have Logan Roger of Waikato Bay of Plenty, Jared Monk of Otago, Callum Stewart of Wellington, Hibiki Minamizawa of Japan, Isaac Murphy of Wellington, Ben Hiraoka of Japan, Cameron Graves of Auckland, fourth in the 5,000 metres last night. It's that tall figure in the black there. Just next to him is Seamus Kane of Wellington. Matthew Taylor of Hawke's Bay Gisborne. He was third in last year's event, I believe. Hector Farmer of Wellington. Winzy Tama, one of our international athletes. Hamish Carson, the famous flowing blonde locks of Hamish Carson, won this event I don't know how many times. Christopher Dryden of Canterbury. So a solid lineup in our senior men's 1500 metres.
So away safely in the first heat. Be interesting to see what sort of pace these races are going to be run at. Whether they're going to be sit and kick races.
So Chris, did you ever run one of these when you were back at school?
I did, on a very rough grass track.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I guess most people.
The opposite of this track, which is in pristine condition.
Yes, yeah. No, I did favour the longer distances, but I've got to say you're not allowed to have favourite events, I guess, as a board member of Athletics New Zealand, but the 1500 metres for me has always been pretty special, I guess because of the success New Zealand has had over the years in the event and around middle distance events, but no, for me it's always been a very popular one to watch, and I've been lucky enough to be live at the Olympics when Nick Willis is both at Beijing and Rio to be able to see live, and it's there's nothing much to beat the excitement of seeing a black singlet going down the back straight in a leading position. Well,
absolutely, we do have just so much heritage in this event, and a lot of these guys are born on those myths and legends of the Lovelocks and the Hellbergs and Snells and John Walker. You know, it is part of New Zealand folklore, much like the All Blacks or the Black Caps. This event holds a special place in our memory. So we have Jared Monk leading it out. That's the Otago jersey, and hot on his heels is Hamish Carson. He wants to dictate this race and control it. Just behind him is Matthew Taylor. He's been he was a bit of a surprise, or I'm sure not a surprise to many, but a surprise to myself and Hamish in the commentary booth last year as he came through for a solid medal in the event. But it is Hamish Carson and Jared Monk. Pace doesn't look too ominous. I imagine hitting around about, well, we're about 2:07 at the start line there. So that's sub-4 pace. So solid, but not electric. We can expect it to pick up from here.
Come up with 600 to go.
We've also got one of our Japanese athletes just on the outside. They're good to have these international athletes mixing up the competition. So that's Ren Hiraoka on the outside with the glasses. And the other Japanese athlete also wearing glasses, number 752, Hibika Minamizawa. So at the moment it is Jared Monk,
followed by
Hamish Carson,
Japanese runners becoming prominent.
and Matthew Taylor, closely joined by Cameron Graves.
Holding on in there.
So the other 4 Kiwis who are hoping to sneak into these top 4 auto qualifiers. And as we come into the last 300 metres now, Hamish Carson will want to dictate what happens here. The Japanese athletes making their presence felt. Also, Jared Monk is holding strong there after doing much of that early work. Matthew Taylor is right amongst it. He's managed to save a lot of energy sitting on the pole. Also, Cameron Graves, after his very good 4th place last night, those legs are still looking fresh as Hamish Carson puts his foot down and shows why he has won this event so many times. And as he pulls away, Cameron Graves is coming strong on the outside. Here he comes, our Japanese athlete on the inside. Matthew Taylor looking good. Jared Monk is going to bring in the 5th position. So it is the top 4, and then the next 4 top qualifiers will move on through.
Yeah, when you see the guys that qualify, and you see the ones that haven't, and you can't help but reflect on the hard work that each of them have gone through to get to nationals.
Absolutely,
and get and to be here in a physical condition that allows them to compete well. And so it's extremely disappointing for those that don't go through, but that's the nature of the sport. Everyone, of course, knows that when they enter. But it's there's no shortcut to being good at running or any other event, is there?
Absolutely. And one of the things at national champs, you will have the people who are vying for medals, but a lot of the athletes come here with the goal of getting that personal best at the peak of their season. And I was certainly in that boat when I was contending with this event, running 63, 64 second laps, and then seeing the likes of Hamish Carson disappear into the distance as we approach the bell. So it's certainly lots of races within the race, and yeah.
Move on to the second
there's no denying the stopwatch, is there? So where you might be able to hide in the field of play in a team game, but when the distance is being measured that you're jumping, or the height you're trying to clear, or the time you've just run, it speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And on that note, you've come from a hockey background. So what are some of the key differences, or maybe the things that have surprised you moving from the hockey world into the athletics world?
Well, I think one thing that doesn't surprise me is that nothing comes without a tremendous amount of hard work.
Yeah.
The more time that's put in practicing the skills, whatever they happen to be, the more success is likely to come. Doesn't always come, but it gives you the better chance to be. So I just think when you look at a club night of athletics and you see the volunteers, the volunteer coaches that are down there, maybe with one athlete working away on them, looking at their technique, encouraging them, just tweaking the little things that they're doing. I mean, that's not really a surprise, but it does continually impress me. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Update in the men's pole vault.
So here we have Heat 2 of the men's 1500, and it's Heat 2 of 2. So Jonathan Jackson of Auckland, Angus Weemus of Tasman, Rio Masuda of Japan, Stephen Langton of North Harbour, Connor Melton, Canterbury, Kieran Sexton of Wellington, and they are away. Simon Rogers of Auckland, he's a man to look out for, the tall figure in the blue. Jacob Pretty of Otago, another key name to keep an eye on. Josh Macy of Auckland, who's been spending a lot of time training over in Melbourne. Samuel Tanner, he's a name we need to watch for the future. Recent sub-4 minute miler. Lewis Young of North Harbour. Samuel Aragawa of, I'm guessing, Japan. Taiki Umeda, another of our Japanese athletes. So let's keep an eye on that clock, because the previous race was solid, not electric, but certainly picked up. So Sam Tanner just prepared to sit at the back there. He knows he's got a good kick, and so he wants to conserve his energy, because the 1500 is not a one-off event. You need to come back tomorrow and be even better than you were on day one.
So Sam has been running particularly well, hasn't he, of late?
Yes. So he really, this time last year when he won a stellar under 20s 1500, the field was just incredible. He pulled an electric closing last 150 metres to win that title, and ever since he's really held the prime position as one of the key domestic milers, and just getting better and better as every year goes. So leading the way is Jacob Pretty.
From Otago. I think
he's certainly stepped on the gas. You can always tell the pace of these runners by how high that heel recovery is coming up, and certainly he's making everyone behind him work pretty hard. Kieran Sexton is right behind Pretty.
We're familiar, aren't we, with some of our 1500 metres of the past and present, staying back in the field until, in the first couple of laps and having a kick. Is that what we're likely to see with Sam? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Sam Tanner is one of those athletes like Nick Willis who trusts his kick. And so certainly he's playing this race as a weekend endeavour rather than just a one-off heat. And a lot of these athletes will come in with different strengths. So if you're more of a 5K guy, you'll probably want to be right up the front and keep this pace honest so it doesn't come down to a lottery in that last 400. And so we can see as the field's just getting stretched out, so people getting separated. You can see Jono Jackson just struggling to stay on the back there of Sam Tanner.
Simon Rogers
and as we just talked about Jono Jackson, he's made that move up to the top 5. So we have Wellington, Otago, then the 3 Auckland jerseys, then Sam Tanner sitting in 6th place as we hit the final 350 metres to go.
Pace comes on now. It's still Kieran Sexton.
So Kieran Sexton doing the work outside of him. Jono Jackson looking very strong, but here comes Sam Tanner. That speed that we saw this time last year in that under 20 1500 metre final. He looks like he's just moves into 4th gear. Simon Rogers outside him, tall figure wearing number 226, coming around to make sure that he's in the right position.
Tall figure of Simon Rogers cruising around.
So pretty in the Otago singlet, also coming wide around Jono Jackson. But it is Sam Tanner who's looking around, making sure that he does enough to make the cut. Josh Macy is finishing strong, just passing Jono Jackson. So it will be Sam Tanner, Simon Rogers, Jacob Pretty, and Josh Macy. And we didn't catch the split, the time for the first of the 1500s, but I'm sure those watching will have seen it. So there, a clear top 4. So that's the conclusion of our 1500 metre heats.
58 for 1500 metres. And last Saturday night, Sam Tanner ran that same
You were
time
referring to
for a
the
mile, which is an
different
extra
body shapes, or we were
106
talking about
metres.
them earlier, and even within that 1500 field, I mean, you look at the size of Sam.
Yeah.
They're all very, very slight, aren't they, and extremely fit. But Sam, being much shorter than the rest of them, and powered away did enough to power away.
Yeah.
And win it. And so you can't tell from looking at a guy running up in the Port Hills in Christchurch training, can you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember standing next to Kenanisa Bakili, and who's current 5 and 10K world record holder. And he's only about 5'7", and you're just looking at those legs, like how on earth can you chew up the ground that fast?
Yeah.
It sort of makes sense when you look at someone like Usain Bolt, who's 6'5", and if he's got enough fast twitch fibers in there, he'll be able to make those legs move pretty fast. So
has World Athletics got another character like Usain Bolt coming through? I mean, he wasn't just a superb athlete, but he was just such a personality, and the way he worked the crowd. And you couldn't help but engage with and pick up on the enthusiasm and the shareability of the guy, could you?
Yeah, I mean, I get the feeling like he is a once-in-a-generation athlete with obviously the talent, but also that personality that he had through. But I mean, putting it in a New Zealand context, it's so exciting to have the personalities that we have, and I think one thing that I've said a couple of times on the stream before is just how New Zealand athletics has this habit of producing not only great athletes but great people and really great role models. Guys like Tom Walsh and Eliza McCartney and Nick Willis and Val Adams, they're people that you'd proudly have on any Wheat Bix packet, and you'd want your kids to look up to. So it's I think the personalities that we have here in the sport are quite incredible.
Yes, and long may it continue that we have those people coming through, because they're easy to deal with from a governance angle and a management angle. They are so accessible. That's the top ones you've referred to. Of course, who are probably the most interesting for the public at large, and they do make themselves available, and they are fantastic ambassadors all round. Not just for athletics, but for New Zealand. Yeah,
brilliant. Now, so on screen we have the pole vault competitors. So we'll just try and get a reading on where the bar is being moved to. Here we go. Thanks to Access Man. So it has gone up to 425. Now, I believe that is Etienne Dupree getting ready to go. Now, we do have some results to fire through from this morning, so I know a lot of people will be tuning in saying, what happened to the men's under-18 triple jump? What's been going on? We did catch a little bit of it, but I can confirm the results. So Charles Annals won the event with a final jump of 13.32 metres. In second place was Samuel Collier with a... Oh, yes, and Dupree goes clear at his first attempt, so good looking confidence boost of a jump there. So Samuel Collier with a 13.13 and Takunda Mabonga of Southland with a 12.95 picked up the bronze medal. So you can find all the results on the live results page of the Athletics New Zealand page, website, so do jump on there. Also this morning we had the women's discus under 18 final, and so the results were a big throw by Kaya Tupu South of Auckland, winning in 42 metres 70. Behind her was Zana Beatty of Otago in 37.47, and then Violet Perry of Canterbury in 36.99. So a lot of action already happening here at the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Champs. Big thank you to our many sponsors, of which New World has got behind the javelin in particular, which is going on right now. So we'll just run through the start list for the men's under-18 javelin. We've got 4 in the field: Ethan Walker of Otago, Quinn Motley of Canterbury, Caleb Solar of Wellington, and Alfie Baker of Canterbury. So this is Caleb Solar. He's got a seed distance of 44 metres and 70.
In lane 2, we have Danielle Dixon of Auckland.
And while there's a little bit of a break in the action, we jump back to Dupree on the runway,
lane 4,
approaching the pole vault and just pulling him out of that one. Didn't like it. So let's say a big thank you to our sponsors. So the naming partner, Jennian Homes, of course, but also Christchurch, New Zealand. Obviously, this is an incredible venue here, Chris, of Ngā Punawai, and it's been a massive project getting this set up. QE2 Park, obviously, which you'll know a lot about, famously destroyed in the Christchurch earthquake. So it's incredible to see this facility that the Christchurch Council has got so behind.
Yes, well, it's the the 2011 earthquake certainly changed the face of sport in Christchurch, as everybody knows, and it cost a lot of sports their homes. In the case of hockey, it was Pirate Park, which had been sort of an iconic venue for so long, and QE2 even more so because of the 74 Commonwealth Games, and then many sporting feature things that have happened over the years there, and records and so on. No less so than, of course, than the famous Dick Taylor 10,000 metres.
Absolutely.
But so that was, and Wilding Park, our tennis venue, was pretty much destroyed as well, and rugby league had to give up their venue for the rugby, and so I don't know whether
Big
they
Brother.
had to, but they they did give up their venue. So yes, it's been a huge thing to have this new Ngā Punawai venue open officially yesterday.
I've had a little jog around the track, and boy, it feels very good. So it is a great facility here, and cool also to have hockey and rugby league and tennis in close vicinity. Oh yes, Dupree going clear there at the new distance. I will get an update. I believe it's 4:45, but we'll double check that. Also starting up on the track is the under-18 women's 200 metre heat. So we've got 3 heats, which means the fastest 2, the first 2, and then the next fastest 2 will go through to the final. And we have Danielle Dixon of Auckland, Sophie Gill of Canterbury, Zoe Spinks of Canterbury, and Maya Broughton of Canterbury, Taylor Brunger of Manawatu Wanganui, and Lily Cockram of Canterbury. So a lot of Canterbury jerseys to keep an eye out for.
So to their marks, Heat 1, women's 200 metres under 18. Dixon,
Eyes
Gill,
in lane
Spinks,
5
Broughton
for
and
Maya
Brunner.
Broughton. So I think that was Max Atwell going clear. So the first of our under 18 women's 200 metre heats here at the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Champs.
Maya Broughton.
So wearing 439, Maya Broughton looks like she's going to come off the bend in the lead, but just outside of her, running very well also is Taylor Brunger. Taylor breathing down the neck of Maya, but Maya is going to claim her spot in the final along with Taylor Brunger, and I believe it was Sophie Gill. It may have been Zoe Spinks. We'll get a confirmation on who came through in third place, but certainly our top two, Taylor Brunger and Maya Broughton. So yeah, it was Sophie Gill coming in third place there. Now, so Chris, obviously a sport like hockey and athletics, you can't really just do it on grass. I know that's what we used to do back in the 50s and 60s, but the modern era, and to really have a professional standard, you need great facilities to host events like this that have world-class athletes and world-class performances on.
Yes, and of course with that requirement to have artificial turfs and that meet international standards goes cost, and so it is a the cost of putting down a hockey turf is quite phenomenal. I believe even the light towers were over $1 million each, and the matting, the carpet, if you like, that you play on is generally over $1 million to put one of those down.
Wow.
And then of course you've got the water systems that can be at $60,000-$70,000 and so on. So yeah, there's no cheap way through it.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's it really is a testament to the city. I went for a run this morning through the red zone where there's just, I mean, it looks like a ghost town with roads that are just overgrown, and there's still areas around the city where there's rubble and there's new buildings going up. So incredible that the city has been able to prioritise sport and realising that sport is a big part of what makes Canterbury Canterbury, and in order to return back to normality, we need to be getting people active and inspiring them and having, yeah.
Well, as you know, sport is very, very high on the list of things for many Cantabrians in terms of their priorities, and yet the council, Christchurch City Council, had to balance spending money on sport against infrastructure problems that were just absolutely monumental following the quake. A lot of the money, a lot of damage occurred underground that wasn't seen by the average, the average Cantabrian.
Yeah.
The water systems, the sewage systems, and rest of it. There was literally hundreds and hundreds of kilometres of work, pipe work to be done underground. So when we were crying out for sports venues,
away safely in heat 2,
it had to be balanced.
Okay, so this is the second heat. Inside we have Brianna Irving, Jasmine Prince, Sarah Farmer, Celia Ward, Charlotte Holland, and Leilana Fue Asu. So running really well is Charlotte Holland, but on the inside is Brianna Irving. So it looks like these two running very well in reasonably still conditions, but cool conditions here at Christchurch. So they're going to book their place in the final. Solid running from those two. So far in these heats, we've had two clear standouts in each heat who have stamped their mark. Both got performances around that 25-second mark. So there will be one more heat to go as we find out who is our two auto qualifiers and who are going to sneak through on the two fastest.
yeah, I guess what we've got here in Puna is the. We'll let you read those there.
Yeah, so there we go. We've got the lineup for the final of the senior men's 1500. The top few names are probably the ones we expected, the Hamish Carsons and Samuel Tanners, but as we scan down, Jono Jackson also getting through, Stephen Langdon, Kieran Sexton and Josh Macy also squeaking through for those top 4 fastest. So there you go, you had to be running 4 minutes or quicker, but of course those last 400 metres all being run very fast indeed. So Max Atwell, our decathlete, taking part in the pole vault competition today.
Lane 7, Jade Kruger from Canterbury, and in lane 8, Hayley Bond from Tasman.
As we also see Caleb Solar of Wellington in the men's under 18 javelin.
And in the pole vault, Etienne Dupree from Auckland, third attempt now at 4.65.
All right, so here we have the final heat in the women's under 18 200 metres. And in lane 3 from Canterbury, we have Ashley Farrell. Then we have Jenna Maples of Manawatu Wanganui, Nina Tucker of Canterbury, Isabel Allen of Auckland, Jade Kruger of Canterbury, and Hayley Bond of Tasman. So watch out for the strong figure of Gina Maples from Manawatu Wanganui. She really showed her form in the 100 metres and the long jump yesterday, and once again proving that she is the powerhouse of women's sprinting. Oh, and horrible sights with the legs just turning to jelly, and that is a heartbreaking thing to happen so close to the line. She looked on track, Jade Kruger, for a spot in the final, and the legs just tying up, so showing how even in the space of 200 metres, those legs can accumulate a lot of fatigue, and it's a common sight to see the 200 and 400 metre runners tie up in the last 30 or 40 metres, and we often talk about athletics championships being the home of dreams coming true and of hearts being broken, and there we see, you know, a year of training coming down to just a few steps to go and unable to make it. So thoughts go out to Jade Kruger there. That's a horrible way to end the race.
Yes, I guess unless you've had that happen to you, you wouldn't appreciate just how quickly it could happen. Yeah, how quickly it could occur when you're the line in sight. You've only got a couple of paces to go, but that shows the pressure you're putting yourself under, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And all these athletes will be absolutely redlining it in the last 50 metres, and it shows how close to the edge you are. Right, so Max Atwell. Oh, has he gone clear? Eyes on that bar. He's good.
Max Atwell there of
well, there was a fair amount of wobble,
65 metres.
But it stays on. It's one of those moments where you just look to the bar and pray that the wind's not going to just knock it off. So I think he's gone clear, Max Atwell, at 465, so he's clear at 485.
So success there for Max Atwell. That's a personal best for him, 4.65.
So that's a personal best for Max Atwell at 465. You can see there's definitely a smile on the face as he goes over to chat to his coach.
The athleticism for the pole vault is quite amazing, but I think for me what stands out is the courage. You know, to be hoisting yourself up that high in the air with feet pointing skyward.
Yeah.
It's not something I could even envisage ever being able to do, but it is extraordinary, isn't it, when you see the heights that they get themselves propelled over.
Yeah, and when you're talking about being 5-6 meters up in the air, there is a crash pad there, but it's not always guaranteed that you're going to land on the crash pad. And there's also a pole to contend with as you come down. Well, 2 poles to contend with, so it certainly earns the name of the extreme sport of athletics for a very good reason. So the bar's gone up to 4.85 thanks to Axis Man, our sponsors for the pole vault. And there we can see Nick Southgate doing his warm-up routine. He will be one of the favourites for this competition, but it's a good little ding-dong battle between him and his training mate, James Stain. The youngster, the 20-year-old versus Nick Southgate, 25. But here we go, eyes on Max Atwell. And that was going to be a PB of another PB. That would have been 20 centimetres beyond his current newest PB. So certainly getting into rarefied air for Max Atwell. And talking about extreme sports, your background is in hockey, and I'm always impressed by the risks that the hockey boys and girls go through with sticks flying everywhere and balls flying at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, the injury rate in hockey is actually is very low. I think there's possibly more. I can't verify this, but I would suspect there's more injuries as you go down the grades rather than at the higher level. The game is so fast as well that you don't see too much. You'll know from watching internationals that you don't see many stoppages for injury. And sure, they can have subs coming on and off, but it's not as dangerous as it looks. But the potential is there, that's for sure.
And yeah, I mean, the fitness component in a sport like hockey, we see a lot of crossover from athletics into hockey. We've got, you know, famously some key New Zealand hockey players have competed in this competition and have done very well, particularly in the sprints. But also youngsters will often, you know, do cross country or distance running and to complement their hockey and vice versa. So yeah, there's a lot of synergies between the two sports.
Well, there is no short way to get, you know, to be fit, is there? You have to do the miles, and in hockey there is a phenomenal amount of running involved in the sport of hockey.
So Max Atwell 485. That was better, but certainly the tweaks in technique that take place as the bar goes up. So looking back at the javelin, where we have, was that Ethan Walker throwing a 58.82. That is phenomenal throw. So the national record in this age division will be a name that many people will know. Gavin Lovegrove from way back in 84 through 77 metres. My goodness, it shows, you know, looking through some of these records, we're looking at the junior shot put and seeing some of the records that Jacko Gill has notched up, you know, 24 metres in the junior shot put, and the gold medal yesterday was won in a very good 18 metres, but it shows what a talent Jacko was at a very young age.
It's great to see him coming back, isn't it? After his setback with health, and he'll be keen to push Tom all the way as they move forward in the next few years.
So on screen is Quinn Motley of Canterbury, and we can confirm the qualifiers for the final of the women's under 18 200 metres. So Maya Broughton, well and truly through to the final. Taylor Brunger, Charlotte Holland, Brianna Irving, Jenna Maples, Ashley Farrell, and then the two auto qualifiers were Sophie Gill and Zoe Spinks, picking up the last of the 8 slots to go through. Wind readings today, for those who are wondering, all were in legal tailwind readings, so somewhere between 0.8 and 1.8. So a good wind to blow our 200-metre runners home. And the action continues in the field with the women's under 20 long jump. We saw some great action in the senior women's and the under 18 long jump yesterday. So I'm sure we'll see more of that today. with Kayla Goodwin coming back to also compete in the under-20s after her impressive day yesterday. Winning.
The long jumpers there. The pit is perfectly positioned for the crowd, isn't it? And right in front of the stand, so it's a great opportunity for those following that sport closely.
Coming in for third attempt now at 4.85.
So this is Anastasia Naylor. She's got a seed distance of 4.9 meters. And Max Atwell. This will be his last attempt at 4.85. Let's see how he goes. And unsuccessful, but he's had a fantastic day in the pole vault. He is a decathlete by trade. So we'll be very happy to leave this competition with a good solid PB. In the javelin, this is the men's under 18 javelin. We've got Caleb Solar of Wellington. So there's 4 competitors in that competition. Back to the under 20s long jump, where on screen it's Emma McCall of Southland.
You can't ask for more than a personal best, can you? If people go away from the Nationals with a PB next to their name, it's got to have been a pretty good event for them, hasn't it?
Yeah, and with 650 athletes here, which is phenomenal when you think about that. There are all those athletes will have different goals, and some will have some heartbreak, like we saw in the 200 meters just earlier. But many will be chasing those times, chasing those distances. Or some will be just after the bling, want to go home with the medals. So Janelle Kara on the long jump runway of Auckland. She's got a seed distance of 5.23. And as we jump back to the men's under 18 javelin, this is Ethan Walker. We believe he's got a best today of 58.82, which we believe would be a big PB. There's a few things to keep track on. So Ethan Walker now. Let's see how he can go. Throwing into a light southerly. And another good, strong throw. And the women's under 20 long jump. This is Alexandra Richards of Canterbury. Another 5 meter plus jumper.
So many technical things to get right with all these events, isn't there? You know, and if you manage to get the combination right on any given day, that might be your day where you can
so moving on to the track
take
now,
the field on and beat them.
Heat one of
there's small margins out there for
200 meters.
Yeah.
In lane 2, we have Troy McGillicuddy from Canterbury. Lane 3,
yeah, so just pulling out of his approach to the bar was James Stain. So he's coming in, Auckland. I believe, at 4.85. We'll get a check on that.
Lane 6, Ethan Wallace.
But he is certainly one of the 2 key players that we need to watch in this pole vault competition. But down on the long jump runway, it is Zoe Taylor.
Liam Kerr from Otago.
We'll be hoping to get her hands on a medal in this long jump competition. Good first jump. Out beyond 5 meters, it looks like from our angle. James Stain. And not liking that one. Having a rusty start as he asks his coach Jeremy McCall for some what went on that one. Advice. So one thing, Chris, you'll notice about the commentary booth at an athletics event, there's a million things to keep an eye on, as opposed to a hockey field where there's one ball. And
yes, you've got to be on your mettle, haven't you? I'm marvelling at your ability to keep track of it all, to be honest.
Yeah, we've got a great production crew who are trying to balance what's happening on field and make sure we capture as much as possible, as many of these crucial moments. Because like we say there, yes, this time,
And
James Stain. So if we can get a confirmation of the height of that jump. Oh, that was Nick Southgate, sorry. I should know these things. So that was Lydia Bamford of Manawatu Wanganui. So she'll be one of the two key names to keep an eye out for. And as we talk about the action coming thick and fast, we have the men's 200-metre heats, the under-18. So we have McGillicuddy, Murdoch, Shute, Andis, Wallace, Stockwell and Kerr. And it is Liam Kerr who is finishing very strong indeed. Inside of him, Jacob Stockwell of Taranaki, who was the winner of the 100 metres.
And there we go, James Stein over at 5 metres.
So confirmation that James Stein goes clear at 5 metres. Joining his training partner, but more importantly, competitor this weekend, Nick Southgate. So these two are going to have a great battle. So this is one of the key events you want to keep your eyeballs on, is the battle between James Stein and Nick Southgate this morning on the pole vault.
When you talk about trying to keep track of everything, while you're being very studious and looking at the screen, I've been trying to cheat a little bit and look at the track, but the number of people that are now arriving to support the event are making that harder to do. So
yeah.
you have to play straight. But it's if anyone's thinking about coming out, it is a marvellous venue, and there's plenty of action, and this is about as good as it gets in athletics in New Zealand. So make the effort. It's not a hard venue to get to or to park at. So
yeah, absolutely. And a good jump there. So that was Anna Grimaldi. So just stepping her foot onto the plasticine there.
Of course, she's been a star for us too, hasn't she, on the world stage?
Yeah, we've got just such an amazing crop of para-athletes that are really competing on the world stage, and yeah, it's very exciting to see this come through. We've got the most para-athletes we've ever had at this competition, and that just keeps on growing. So it goes back to all the work from volunteers and organisations all around the country who are making the sport accessible to everyone and anyone, I should say. So Danielle Aitkinson. And here we have James Stain, this time going clear. Very good. I believe the bar is now set at 5:10, 5:15. Well, look at the clearance he had with that.
That is high, and he's well over by the look of it.
Yeah, making that look easy after struggling a little bit with the 5 metre bar. See what Nick Southgate can do in response to that.
So in the pole vault, James Stein, he was successful. First attempt at 5.15, coming in for his first attempt, Nick Southgate, 5.15.
So we've got a second heat in the men's under 18 200 metres, as we will catch Nick Southgate's attempt at 5 metres, 0.15. And notching that off with his toes. So let's go through the start list. We have on the inside Kane De Vries, Jed Syme, as we catch the under-18 javelin going. Look at that throw, soaring into this overcast sky. So DeVries on the inside, Jed Syme next to him, Ben Smith, Jordan Stewart, Caleb Bone, Tyron Hilton, Felix Pop and John Wells. So all eyes on Tyron Hilton here, our Waikato Bay of Plenty athlete, running very well, and Jordan Stewart inside of him. These will be your top 2 auto qualifiers. It is going to be your top 3 are going to get through. So just 2 heats in the men's under 18 200 meters. So top 3, and then the next 2 fastest will go through, who I believe, I want to say that was Jed Syme. Wow, so now the ball has gone into the court of Nick Stain, who has the upper hand in this pole vault competition, with Nick Southgate just missing on that jump.
We were mentioning earlier about the legends that we have in our sport, and some of them are still around this venue, and it's lovely to see Val Adams walking around with her young daughter, who seems to have a smile on her face permanently. I'm not sure how Val manages to do that, but she's such a happy little child, and it's lovely to see Val here coaching and supporting her sister, who's involved in the para shots. So
yeah, and it's brilliant to see her sister arrive in the scene. Very exciting to have, you know, such a raw talent. That family.
Yeah, they're extraordinary, aren't they?
You can say that it's genes, but it's also that mindset, that true professional mindset. You don't win 60-odd competitions back to back without being just an extraordinary athlete. And speaking of extraordinary athletes, Nick Southgate. He keeps that bar on. It had a little wobble up the top, but he's happy. He's still in this game. So James Stain will have the upper hand on countback now. So James was clear on 5:15, but Nick had 1 miss. So the bar will go up to 5:25, 5:30. Now this will be season's best for both of them. It would be a personal best for James Stain.
So the bar now at 5.30 metres, 5.30. This is new territory for James Stain. He'll be coming in first attempt.
This is Janelle Cara on the long jump.
Yes, I guess most Kiwis, it's fair to say, won't have been in the presence of Val Adams at any stage, but she's the most engaging human being, but the physical presence, the imposing physical presence, is just amazing. She is such an athlete, and a tall one at that. You're sort of talking to her for any short period of time. You, as an average sized male, you're looking upwards. To look her in the eye. But no, she is a phenomenal athlete, and we look forward greatly to her getting back into the sport.
All right, James Stain approaching the bar, unsuccessful at 5:30, so that would be a PB vault if he can do it. Trying to get some tips from his coach, Jeremy McCall, who's also coaching his competitor, Nicholas Southgate, so guessing the advice won't be biased. Not sure if coaches have favourites.
I do find that interesting because it's so different in the sport I was engaged in, that after every attempt, the coach or the athlete is looking to the coach to get, to be able to take advice or tweak what they've just done, particularly if they've just failed on an attempt. But it's obviously such a technical sport that someone observing from the side can pick these things up. Is that how it works? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was talking to Jeremy the other day, and he was saying just how Eliza in particular has matured so much. It's almost just a matter of she knows what she's doing. She knows exactly what her body's doing. And his role is almost there for confirmation. of those things, and I guess when the nerves get there, you get the voices in your back of your head when you get to the pointy end of the competition, like we are in for the senior men's pole vault. Just that familiar face on the side of the track, just affirming what you probably already know and feel.
And of course, Val does the same when she's in the shot put, isn't she? She's looking to the coach for and often demonstrating what she didn't quite do right in her view. And I think we've probably all seen that.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of events on right at the moment. This on screen is the women's under-20 long jump. We've had some great performances in this event so far. And here we are, Nick Southgate, 5:30 on the bar. Well, I thought it was going to stay there. He did get a good clip on it, but as we've seen today already, bar's been happy to stay there, even with a little bit of wobble on it, but not this time. So 5:30 had two misses, one each from Nick Southgate and James Stain.
0.86, 57.86 for Connor Bell.
I think I haven't seen it this time, but I'm sure it still happens where Jeremy is actually filming his athletes as they go over.
All right, so we have yet another event starting up. So this is the discus men's under-20. So Connor Bell, Liam Johnston, Matthew Orkamp, Jared Neighbours, and Nicholas Kinney. So we'll do our best to keep an eye on the results from there. And this is the women's under-20 high jump, and here we see all right, James Stein. Well, he had the height. He had the height, and he's frustrated with that because he was so close. He knows he's in the ballpark.
We mentioned before about the number of officials needed for an event like this, and we're always looking for, Athletics New Zealand is always looking for more people to get involved in that manner, and it is that there's so many dedicated people in our sport that we're eternally grateful for, but you know, a lot of them would like to do less than they're doing now, and so we're always wanting to bring people in and train them to take over some of those roles that are being held by people who have done it for a long time. But the sport needs every one of them.
Men's discus, Nicholas Kinney next to throw, first attempt.
So Nicholas Kinney opening up his campaign in the under-18 discus, under-20 discus, I should say. So he's only 17 years old. We've seen him already competing in this weekend.
5.30.
A very good thrower out of Northland. And here we are back to Nicholas Southgate. James Stain missing his second attempt at 5:30. And let's see if his training partner, Nick, can get a season's best on the board. Here he goes, approaching the bar. He's over, but clips it on the way down. Just not getting enough projection over the bar.
By Nick Southgate, 5.3.
Again, had the height. But it is that balance of getting the height and also projection over. Well, also clipping it with his leg there. So
in the discus.
at the moment, we believe Nick is actually in second place on countback, so he needs to get this next clearance.
New Zealand record for Connor Bell is 59.72.
Well, Jeremy McCall is such a has been for the last few years now, and still is such a big influence in the pole vault area, isn't he? I mean, it's phenomenal the number of people that he has already and is currently developing in that specialist sport, or specialist event within our sport.
So this is Connor Bell, who is the current under-20 New Zealand record holder. So he's got a best of 59.71, and real talent that we need to keep an eye on. So the discus brought to you by Aon. Big thanks to all of our sponsors and Aon getting behind the discus. And here we are, James Stein. This will be his final attempt at 5:30. Can he go clear? Just catch Matthew Orkamp, I believe that was. Okay, James Stein. Oh, and he is going to bow out of the competition, but currently sitting in first place, we believe, unless Nick Southgate can complete this final jump. So Jared Neighbours of Canterbury coming in with a seed distance of 45 metres. Yeah, and as you say, I mean, Jeremy McCall is an example of the many people around the country who get involved and are passionate about the sport and bring their knowledge and pass it on to the youngsters and up and coming athletes. Yeah, and just incredible how he's been able to build, thanks to the success in a large part from Eliza McCartney, but just build that solid group of young athletes.
I guess there's only a certain amount of the time and energy that one guy can put into an event like that, but he seems to be doing an extraordinary job. Well, is doing an extraordinary job with his team of athletes. We're very fortunate within Athletics New Zealand to have a high performance manager of the quality that we've got in Scott Goodman, and as though he's not busy enough, he's actually taken on the coaching of Val Adams as well. So whilst he's got a perfect product to work with there, it's a testament to Scott that he can combine that role with his day job, if you like, which is huge.
Coming in for a third
So
attempt
Connor Bell there on screen, our national record holder in the men's under-20 discus. He's a huge talent, definitely a man to look out for in the future. And this is, will it be the conclusion of our pole vault? From what we understand, Nick needs to get this jump. He's behind on count back. From our calculations, we're at the other end of the ground, so it's difficult to keep an exact tab on what's happening. So here he comes. Oh,
so close.
And heartbreak there for Nick. He knew that he was so close. And very good jump. So the under-20s women's high jump is still in action. So that was Zoe Taylor getting up beyond 5 metres.
Down in lane 2, Tim Horton from Otago.
And here we have
Tim Horton.
the under-20 200 metres, and just cruising his way through is Cody Wilson, looking left, looking right, making sure he's getting one of those auto qualifying spots. and on the inside it was Timothy Horton from from Otago also claiming that spot, we believe. Another good jump there from Lydia Bamford. She's one of the best on paper as far as the standings that we've got. Coming in with a 5:59 seeding jump. So 5:26 there for Lydia in the long jump.
So that now confirms it there in the pole vault to senior men. The title going to James Stein, 5.15.
So official confirmation that James Stein is the winner in the pole vault, and Nicholas Southgate coming in second on count back. Both of them going clear at 5 meters 15, but Nicholas Southgate having a miss at that height. So great battle between these two, and I'm sure we'll see more of them. James Stein just turned 20 years old earlier in the week on Tuesday. So there we have an update of the men's javelin, and Ethan Walker, man, that's a 58.82 throw. That is a phenomenal throw from Ethan. Caleb Solar coming in second place, and Alfie Baker in third.
200 meters.
So Anna Grimaldi on screen there in the long jump competition. So back on the track, and we have the second heat of the men's under 20 200 meter championship. So first two will go through automatically, and we have George Kozlov in lane 2, Ben Allen, Joseph Brooks, Hayato Yonito of Southland, Isaac Oliver, Harry Cochran, and Travis Baylor.
Seems to be going quite well. That's Isaac Oliver.
Now Isaac Oliver from Wellington running well, but we've got a good lineup of 4 athletes. The Auckland runner George Kozlov also running well, so it'll be those two to claim the auto spots. Kozlov just grabbing his hamstring there. It is cold conditions here. We're probably sitting around about 14 degrees. The sun came out for a little bit, and Kozlov just grabbing that hamstring. It's one of the challenges with these events. You warm up, and then the challenge is to stay warm as you go through the official areas to get to your start area. So it is one of the arts of a major championship, particularly when it's trying conditions like this in the cold, to stay warm and make sure you're not going to pull a hammy out of the blocks or do some damage to your body.
Because the salubrious surroundings of the production tent that you're operating from here is belies how cold it is outside.
Yeah, much better conditions than yesterday, where we were greeted with a nasty southerly and rain. This morning, the southerly is very light, but it's certainly not tropical. So always thoughts go out to our Tahitian athletes. They often come to this competition, and when it does turn a bit sour, you're sort of hoping that they've packed their winter woolies. It's going to be a shock to the system after the warmth of Tahiti. So we'll have one more heat in the men's under 20 200 meters. So 3 heats in that competition. And we're going to see Daniel Parks, Jonathan Maples, Angus Gilbert, Will Campbell, James Guthrie Croft, Matthias Pio, Finn McNaughton, and Jude Cargan. So eyes on James Guthrie Croft. He's the only runner in this field to come in with a seed time under that magic 22-second mark. Matthias Pio also peppering on that time. So lanes 5 and 6, the Auckland
of Canterbury in lane 8. That's heat 3 of the men's 200 metres under 20.
Now we can confirm for you the qualifiers for the men's under 18 200 metres. So we'll quickly go through that. So Jacob Stockwell, Tyrone Hilton, Ethan Wallace, Jordan Stewart, Flynn Murdoch, and the Kane DeVries, and the two qualifiers on time, Quinn Anders and Damon Shute are your qualifiers in the under 18. But this is the under 20s. We've got 3 heats, and we're going to another go at the start. And we're back to the discus.
Heat 3 of the men's 200 metres.
All right, and here we go. And as predicted, it is lanes 5 and 6 with James Guthrie Croft and Matthias Pio. Guthrie Croft wearing the blue of Auckland, and Pio the red and yellow of Waikato Bay of Plenty. And it is those two. And on the inside, Daniel Parks coming through for 3rd place. We'll wait and see. I'm not sure what happened there to our Southland athlete, I think it was. Coming in lane 8. So James Guthrie Croft and Matthias Pio certainly asserting their dominance in that event. You need to be around that 22 mark to book a place in the final in this competition. And on screen, we've got the under 20 men's discus throw. Proudly brought to you by Aon. And on screen is Nicholas Kinney, who is only 17 years old. He's featured this weekend already quite prominently. He's got a seed distance of 52.95. Doesn't look super happy with that one.
So in the under 20 men's discus throw, coming in round 4, the leader, Connor Bell of Auckland. He's out to 58.67 in his 3rd attempt. His New Zealand record's 59.72. So a lot of interest here.
So here's Connor Bell just asking for the crowd to give him a bit of love. He's 18 years old. He's already thrown that discus out to 59 metres 71, which is a New Zealand age group record.
It's interesting to me that as you see the lists of competitors for the various events, there are surnames that are names that I know from way back. Does that tend to be the case in athletics? A lot that you get the families, the next generation are coming through.
Absolutely, and it is certainly like most sports, I guess. Rugby, cricket, hockey, you definitely see that next generation come through, and probably the most prominent would be Edward Osei Nketiah. Yesterday picking up the senior men's 100-metre title. He's only 17 years old, maybe just turned 18, and the son of the current New Zealand record holder with a 10.11. So Edward is fast approaching that time. He's run a best this year of 10.30, which is a New Zealand age group record. So yeah, eyes on him. Obviously, there can be a little bit of pressure as well if you carry a famous name with you. So it is always the challenge for the parents of those kids to make sure they get a balanced approach to their athletics at a young age and can kind of choose their own path. And because obviously you need to have that passion that comes internally to succeed.
And the parental time and getting the family to the event. So
Yeah.
when they're younger and all the things that go with being a good parent on the sideline, as it were.
Yeah.
He's an impressive athlete too, isn't he, to look at?
Yeah, very much so. He's one of those athletes where you hope there's no rugby or rugby league scouts around, because I know if I was a rugby coach, I would be saying, I want that man in my back line. So that you can see all the poles being removed from the senior men's pole vault competition, which was won by James Stain ahead of Nicholas Southgate on countback, both going clear at 5:15. And here we have the continuation of our under-20 women's long jump competition.
Next to throw in the discus, Nicholas Kinney.
So Nicholas Kinney on screen.
91.96.
I believe he's sitting in second position in the men's under-20 discus, brought to you by Aon.
Sorry, just a correction there. We're looking for the medalists in the men's triple jump under 18. Charles Annals in particular. Can you please make your way through to the medals tent? The men's javelin throw, you're not on quite yet, sorry. Thank you.
So Connor Bell, the man of the moment in the discus circle. Always impossible to tell by their body language, these throwers, on how well that throw was, unless it's very, very good, and then you'll see a bit of emotion. But they're very good at
Now in the final round of the
getting their work done and not making a big noise about it often.
Canterbury throwing.
So Liam Johnston. And back to the women's under-20 long jump competition. We've had some great competition in the women's long jump this weekend, both under 18 and in the senior women's yesterday.
The senior women didn't have the best of conditions to do their event yesterday, did they? It was sort of that slightly, I wouldn't say driving rain, but it wasn't too far off it, and it certainly was not warm. It must make it much harder for them, and at least it wasn't nasty wind, but it wasn't very pleasant.
Yeah, absolutely. It was part swimming, part long jump, I think. I think that's probably how you'd describe it.
He's in third at this stage at 42.
And it was Kayla Goodwin who took the win out in yesterday's competition with a 5.86. And then it was Gina Maples who won the women's under 18 long jump in a 5.93. So showing the ability of Gina Maples. She's a powerful young girl. She develops a lot of speed on the runway. Very good 100-meter runner. But we are back to the under-20 competition. We've got a great jump there.
We now have the medal ceremony for the men's
by
triple
Lydia
jump
Bamford.
under 18. This event
I
was
think in the
sponsored by
senior
Access
long
Man.
jump, if I'm correct, the
And we have a
women's,
very own
the
Don
senior long
Bowden,
jump, we had a new champion,
Edinburgh
didn't we?
Commonwealth Games
Kelsey
senior
Berryman
under
had
26
been
will be
has
presenting
been
medals today
the long
to
jump
our
champion for
under 18.
several years, and carrying a slight injury into the event. I think she ended up fourth. Yeah, so that I'm sure she'll be disappointed at that, but she just wasn't quite physically ready for it yesterday, and I'm sure we'll see her again in taking the title.
So Zoe Taylor, good jump there. The Auckland athlete.
A jump of 13.13 metres at Samuel Collier.
You certainly do have to have everything working for you on the day, don't you? When you're,
yeah.
Any little niggle that you can have can be just enough for someone to take your seat on the throne.
Absolutely. When we're trying to generate as much power as you possibly can, that slight tight hamstring or maybe an Achilles that's a bit niggly will just play in the back of your mind. So 5:21 there for Zoe Taylor. I believe we're into the second half of the long jump competition. So this is Kayla Goodwin. Oh, look at that jump, getting out more towards that 6 metre mark. She'll be having a slight tailwind behind her. It should be a legal wind. It's not too strong here. But that is a great jump by a Waikato Bay of Plenty athlete. She just had her eyes set on that 6 metre mark and her legs followed her eyes. Great jump. Let's have a look at this distance. She had a seed distance of 5:78, and I think that was 5:79.
So in that final throw by Connor Bell, we're just getting the steel tape out, but provisional, but at 60.05 metres, a New Zealand junior record.
So we've just heard an announcement that Connor Bell has thrown a 60.05 in the discus. Now that makes it a New Zealand record, which is absolutely fantastic. We saw a couple of New Zealand records set yesterday, and Connor Bell, he's an unassuming lad, but my goodness, what a throw.
Yes, that's a fantastic throw.
So again, the discus throwers are throwing south to north, so they'll have a light wind hopefully helping that discus along. And the para shot put athletes just warming up.
So who's responsible for measuring the wind in events like this? Who actually is? Whose role is that, or how does that?
It's a good question, and it's one of those moments where I wish I had my commentary partner Hamish Meacham, and he's more versed in the goings on in the technical world of athletics, because it is a very tricky sport to referee, and you've got some of the world's best officials are on this ground right now. I think there's a select bunch of them in the world, and we've got a couple of that top 30 in the world who officiate world champs, Olympic Games, and they are part of the New Zealand athletics framework. But certainly there's, as we mentioned before, there's 150 volunteers here, and many of those will be officials who have gone through the IAAF training and will know exactly what needs to be done in order to make sure any records are officially ratified, and when the athlete does the performance, that they get the recognition they deserve, because all the I's have been dotted and the T's have been crossed.
Yes, well, it's so crucial, isn't it? Because it's, once it's a world, but if you're talking world records or New Zealand records are important enough, but if you're talking something approaching a world record, you've got to have it spot on, haven't you? Because you don't get many thanks for getting that wrong.
In lane 2, we have Helena Dennison from Canterbury.
You don't want to be that guy who is holding the watch while Usain Bolt is running 9.59 or whatever it is. I'm pretty sure they don't hold watches anymore, but
you'd need good reactions, wouldn't you, when you're timing somebody like him. I see he's finished his brief soccer foray into the football sport of football. He's decided not to regress, but he showed some skill.
I mean, he's one of those athletes. I kind of wish instead of football it was long jump. Who knows what Usain could have done in the long jump pit or even progress up to 400. But as we've heard him say before, he hates the 400 training. He would make a dream 400 runner with those long legs. But unfortunately, we don't get to see what he can do in that round. But yeah, he's been a great ambassador of the sport, and he's brought a lot of young faces and a lot of young eyeballs into the screen to watch athletics.
Yes, I can still remember sitting in the stadium in Rio, and a roar started, and we were sort of looking around the arena to see what was happening. Couldn't see anything, and some of the crowd had sighted Usain Bolt appearing out of the tunnel, and the place just erupted.
All right, so speaking of fast 200-metre runners, we're going to find out who's going to book their place in the women's senior 200 metres final. So we have 2 heats, so that will mean the top 3 from each heat, and then the next 2 fastest times will go through. On the inside, we've got Helena Dennison, then Jade Henley-Smith, Olivia Eaton, Brianna Stevenson, Abby Goldie, Portia Bing, Jakoya Palmer, Simone Tafanai. So keep your eyes on the Taranaki jersey of Olivia Eaton and also Portia Bing in blue. Let's see what she can do. But it is Olivia Eaton at the moment. She's run a very good bend and is storming home with that good tailwind. Portia Bing, the 400-metre hurdler specialist. Can I call her a specialist now? Sure, she won't like that. But she has booked her place also in the final. But Olivia Eaton showing that she is one of the favourites to give Zoe Hobbs a challenge for this 200-metre title. So Portia Bing, I think it was another Auckland jersey, Brianna Stevenson, just dipping the line for that crucial automatic 3rd qualifying spot. And we're back to the long jump. The women's 20 long jump going on. So we are trying to jump over to the women's para shot put, which is going to be on screen. We've got a good lineup of ladies in this competition, so I'll quickly run through the start list for the women's para shot put. We have Sionan Murphy, we've got Caitlin Dorr, Jess Hamill, Lisa Adams, sister of Valerie Adams, Amy Dunn, Charlotte Buchanan, Claire Kiefer from Australia, and Taylor Clement. So a great lineup there. I imagine this competition is going to be decided on percentage of world best according to the classification that you find yourself in. Now here we've got the medalists of the 5,000 metres last night. Matt Baxter is missing from that. I imagine he might have gone home. He's done his running for the weekend. Ollie Chignell shaking hands with a absent Matt Baxter. So that was a great race last night. Ollie Chignell picking up 2nd place. Daniel Belkin coming in 3rd. But Matt Baxter proving why he is an All-American from his time over at the University of Northern Arizona.
Summer Rutherford of Canterbury in 3. Georgia Hulls from Hawke's Bay Gisborne in 4. Kate Maynell.
So on screen we have Lydia Bamford, who we believe is sitting in 2nd or 3rd place in this competition. We'll try and get confirmation of the standings, but we're coming towards the close of this women's under-20 long jump. Let's have a look. Out beyond 5 metres. Not sure it'll improve on her previous jumps. Gets the white flag. Now we have the 2nd of the 200 metres lining up. So we've got in lane 1, Natasha Eady. She ran in the 100 metres earlier from Auckland. In lane 3, so 2nd on the inside, is going to be Summer Rutherford from Canterbury. Georgia Hulls of Hawke's Bay Gisborne. Kate Maynell from Canterbury. Livy Wilson, she was just pipped at the post for a bronze medal yesterday in the 100. Fiona Centers of Otago, Zoe Hobbs of Auckland, and Laura McCulloch of Otago. So there's the results of the senior men's pole vault. James Stain just pipping his training partner Nick Southgate for the title. Always a challenge, these pole vault competitions, because James actually missed his first jump at 5 meters, while Nick went clear at 5 meters, and then it reversed. So at 5:15, James got his first attempt, and Nick Southgate missed his first attempt, got clear on his second, and then they all missed at 5:30, meaning that the win went to James Stain. And they'll restart the second of our senior women's 200 meters. And the lanes to watch in this heat are certainly lane 8 with Zoe Hobbs wearing the blue of Auckland, but also inside of her will be Livy Wilson of Auckland and Georgia Hulls of Hawke's Bay Gisborne, and also Natasha Eadie of Auckland in lane 2.
5.77.
So it'll be interesting to see who picks up the second and third auto qualifying slots.
Best in this competition of 5.79.
I think you can safely put your money on Zoe Hobbs booking her place in the final. Here she goes, looking so strong. This brilliant technique, so controlled, so much power. She really creates such a good foundation for her legs to do the work of pushing her forwards. So inside of her, it is Georgia Hulls, who's looking very comfortable, looking left and looking right. She says, I've booked my slot. And also inside of her, Natasha Eadie does a little fist pump over the line. She knows that she's got the third spot. Did Livy Wilson do enough? Let's have another look, see if we can get a replay side on. So it is Livy Wilson very closely followed by Fiona Centers, the 31-year-old out of Otago. So we'll have to see who gets those next two fastest times. The women's 200 is hotly contested. We've got great sprinting stocks in New Zealand right now in female sprinting. It is really, really competitive. Of course, we've got Zoe Hobbs, who's lighting up all sorts of new domestic records and personal bests, and a very exciting talent. As we see Anna Grimaldi. But it's the girls behind her also who are making the battle for second and third very hotly contested.
One thing we'd get as a board member of the board of athletics is a summary every week, or the results every week of every event in New Zealand that has taken place in the weekend. We usually get it on a Monday or sometimes a Sunday, and even any New Zealand athlete taking part in an event around the world, we get their notification of how they've done as well. So you get to know these names coming through.
And it's often the way when you get to an event like this, you can finally put faces to names. I'm one of those like you, follow the results, and certainly unless they're a performer like a Zoe Hobbs, where you see her face on the media all around the place, you often don't get to see them in the flesh, and so it's great to be able to work out, okay, that's that person who's taken big leaps and bounds this season, and put some names to it. So on screen we've got the women's para shot put. And as we jump back to Alexandra Richards in this women's under 20 long jump, which is still going on. Quite a long competition. We've got quite a few competitors in that competition, with 13 starters, including the 3 para athletes. So Taylor Clement, she's coming in with a seeding throw of 8.28 meters. So still to come this morning, as we see Jennian Murphy lining up for the shot put. He's got a best of 6.11. And I'm just getting a word in my ear that it is Siobhan. It's one of those names that is yeah, so coming up shortly, we're on the track. We're going to have the senior men's 200 metres, the heats of the senior men's, and we've just got confirmation of the senior women's. So let's see who got those remaining qualifiers. So the auto qualifiers were Zoe Hobbs, Olivia Eaton, Georgia Hulls, Portia Bing, Natasha Eady, and Brianna Stevenson. But who got the key auto qualifiers? And it was Abby Goldie of Waikato Bay of Plenty and Livy Wilson, both running 24.83 and 24.90 respectively. And nice little tailwinds that the 200 metre sprinters have got. So both coming through in about 1.1.
So there were some very familiar names amongst that bunch you read out, weren't there?
Yeah. So it did look like the ones we expected to be there got through. And here we have Lydia Bamford, who is one of our favourites in the long jump competition. We're not sure what round we're in, but it must be around 5 or 6. That's been going for quite a long time, that competition. So Lisa Adams, I'm sure she'll get sick of being called the sister of Valerie. She's a great personality, got a great sense of humour, and just entered the sport last year. But that's a great jump there from Zoe Taylor. She's been jumping well this morning, getting up beyond 5 metres and hitting the board cleanly. Let's have a look at what Zoe is given. No, that's definitely not her distance. So that was Lisa Adams. I believe it was 5:44. I think we just caught that. So Lisa Adams going to have a chat to her coach. Can't get much more better coach than that to guide you through a shot put competition. And wow, we're back to Kayla Goodwin. She's been the form athlete, but her feet just pushing this run up a little bit too far. It's always the balancing act with having enough speed and power coming in on that runway and not overstepping your mark.
The margins for error are very small, aren't they? And
you want to be
traveling at that speed.
You want to be as close as possible, but so Charlotte Buchanan in the para shot put. Now, I believe we saw a personal best from Lisa Adams earlier. But she's... And here we have our Australian athlete, Claire Kiefer. Now, she's number 2 in the world in her division. So she is a really great talent, coached by a Kiwi. So she's got goals of Dubai later this year, the World Champs, and then of course Tokyo, the Paralympics next year. She'll dearly love to notch, I think it's the Brit who has the #1 spot. So she'd love to remove her off her perch and take that #1 world ranking.
You were mentioning earlier about every event being for many athletes a step along the way to something else, and I guess there's no bigger one that people will be looking at the moment than Tokyo. Some of these names we're seeing performing today will be, having their own goal set, and that would be an obvious target, wouldn't it, for anyone aspiring to perform on the international stage.
Absolutely, and if we had Hamish Meacham, my commentary partner, in the box, Hamish, if you're nearby, it'd be helpful to have some expert comments on this women's shot put, because there's a lot of intricacies in the para competition, and we've got multiple world class, and we're talking top 3, top 8 athletes in various divisions and various events. We are really blessed with a great para athletics program here, and so and that's thanks to a lot of volunteers and coaches who pour a lot of hours of passion and hard work, and of course the athletes themselves.
Yeah, if Hamish Meacham was around, I'd like to get him back and check the accuracy of his watch when he asked me if I could fill in for 5 minutes.
I imagine, given that are we still in the morning, he's probably near a coffee cart somewhere. I did try and lure him over with a coffee early, but he shrugged off his duties.
Well, he's certainly a busy boy, so I don't mind trying to help out for a short while.
There's a lot going on, and something that I've noticed from the Athletics New Zealand staff is you need to be multitaskers, and you need to be able to be a jack of all trades, because when the rain arrived, there were people running around with towels and setting up equipment and all sorts. So we have Lisa Adams back in the circle.
Yes, I think you're right. Titles go out the window, job titles go out the window, and there's work to be done. And we're very blessed with an amazing staff at Athletics New Zealand who, at events like this, work just day and night to ensure it goes well.
Yeah, on Wednesday night at this Lincoln University Street Athletics, I saw everyone from CEOs to communication managers and high performance managers packing up the pole vault and carting marquees and doing all sorts of tasks. So everyone was pitching in. So it's a small organisation that does a lot. We often think of these organisations that run the sports in the country as being having a bottomless budget, but it's a small, high-performing team there at the head office.
No, nothing could be further from the truth about when you're talking about Athletics New Zealand. We do have a relatively small team and achieve a huge amount, so we're very grateful for that. As a board, we're very grateful.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we've managed to track down our man Hamish Meacham to guide us through this para shot put competition, because we need some expert comments. Hamish, I've been bluffing my way through it so far. Shall I hand over to you? All right.
Claire Kiefer, the Australian Paralympic bronze medalist, and Hamish Meacham, the expert comments. That's pushing the boat out. Claire Kiefer, coached by New Zealand performance coach John Eden, a best of 9:05. She didn't have a great competition at the Street Athletics Festival. She was
of Waikato Bay,
A little
20 in 3.
not
Shula
incredibly
Orr
pleased. We'll
of
see what she's come
Otago
up with
in 4.
here.
Felix
9:01,
McDonald
only
of
4
Otago
centimetres
in
from her
5.
personal best, Claire Kiefer. So
Hamish Gill
clearly
from Auckland
in better
lane
form
6.
than she
And
was on
Jordan
Wednesday
Boland,
night.
who was
Little
prominent
wry
in that
smile on her
exciting
face, and
100
even
metre
her
final,
coach John Eden
last night,
looks like
and got
he
second.
might be
Well,
happy
he's
with
out
that.
in lane 7,
He's well
and
known
he
as being the
won of
grumpiest
the
man
senior men's
in New
200
Zealand athletics. And there's Taylor Clements, very exciting new talent out of Auckland, also coached by John Eden. Taylor, a former elite paraswimmer, who is hoping to attack that qualification standard for the World Para Athletics Championships, and she's kind of clapping her hands together, looking happy there. So 8:41, big PB. Taylor Clement from Auckland. What did you think of that, Chris?
Well, that's well done, isn't it? We were just saying earlier that, you know, if you come away from an event like this having achieved personal best, you can't really ask for much more, can you? From any athlete.
That is true. However, having said that, these athletes are also chasing world championship qualification standards, and I can confirm Taylor Clement just broke the B standard, the Athletics New Zealand B qualification standard. She's booked her tickets for the World Para Athletics Championships in Doha this November. So very exciting stuff, and congratulations to Taylor Clement and her coach John Eden. She's absolutely stoked. We're going to coverage of the senior men's 200 metre heats now. Heat 2 of 2, I believe. And away, we've got Jordan Beland in the outside, Hamish Gill, a couple of Otago athletes, but Jordan Beland, having picked up a silver medal in the 100 metre final last night, is very confident heading into this 200. It looks like Auckland 1-2. Two of the best guys in the nation here, Beland and Gill. We'll see Gill in the senior men's long jump as well. They're both comfortably through. Then Otago 3-4, the Waikato athletes in 5th. So just confirming that's Shula Orr and Felix McDonald from Otago. Great running, gentlemen. But Jordan Beland, Hamish Gill through. And here's Holly Robertson, your Olympic and Commonwealth Games, Paralympic and Commonwealth Games silver medalist. Out to around that 40 metre mark. Holly Robinson, a best of 43.34. New World, proud sponsor of the javelin competitions here at the Jennian Homes Athletics New Zealand Track and Field Championships. How have you enjoyed your time on the mic, Chris?
Well, I'm finding out how little I know, but other than that, no, it's been enjoyable, and being able to be here for the duration of the event is great too. And having it in our new Christchurch venue is even better.
Yeah, the local organising committee here has done a fantastic job alongside the events crew at Athletics New Zealand. If the weather can cooperate for the next day and a half, I think it'll go down as being one of our best ever championships. There's Lisa Adams coming across the shot there, and 44.86, I believe that was the thrower. Might have been Savannah Sheen from Auckland. That's Mahini Patu out of Auckland. Also out around that 40 metre mark. We'll see if they'll measure that.
Well, since you weren't here when I made the comment, as a board, we're very grateful for the enthusiasm and commitment that we have amongst our Athletics New Zealand staff. We couldn't ask for more.
Yeah, we've got a pretty good crew led by the interim chief executive, Pete Fitzinger, but we appreciate the support of the Athletics New Zealand board. Recently awarded the Good Governance mark, which is the first sports organisation in New Zealand to receive that. So very capable group of people leading the sport.
Yeah, that was certainly was much appreciated. The award was much appreciated, and did come after a lot of hard work trying to get the you know, the structures and strategies and things in place to allow you guys to perform the way that you do, and we couldn't ask for more.
Speaking of performance, we've got one of our most exciting performers just getting ready in his blocks. We see in lane 3 in the blue singlets there, or no, oh, he's not in shot yet actually, but I'm talking about Edward Osai Inkatea, who should be in lane 5, though I don't see him, somewhat disturbingly. He won the 100-metre title last night in a canter. So we'll wait and see if Eddie Osai Inkatea is a starter or he might be a late scratching at this stage. We've got some shots of Bailey Cotton there from Tasman. Here's Holly Robertson, Paralympic silver medalist. Back on the runway. One of the best in the business, well coached by Raylene Bates. Originally from Hokitika, Holly, but trains out of Dunedin. And boom, distinctive style. Nice flight on the javelin there, peppering around her best, Holly Robinson. She's up for today's competition. She's hoping to get out towards that personal best mark. And let's see what they come up with in the measure. Personal best of 43.34. A little bit shy, 39.
Well, from my observation so far in the day and a half that we've been going, our named athletes, as you perhaps refer to them, seem to be all up there where we'd expect them to be in terms of performance.
Yeah, exactly. And away in Heat 2 of the men's 200 metres, no Eddie Osai Inkatea. So we see Sulu from the international athlete. He's Tongan, I believe, but it's all Michael Goldie from Waikato Bay of Plenty. Who's going to get that second automatic spot? So Michael Goldie, followed by Dari O of Auckland's, automatically qualifying through to the 200-metre final, which will be held tomorrow afternoon. So it looks like an unfortunate scratching from Eddie Osai Inkatea. Any information on that for us, Cherie?
Underway in the medal ceremonies now, we have the men's discus throw under 20. This event was sponsored by
so just news to hand, precautionary scratching from Eddie Osai Inkatea. A little bit stiff around the hamstring area after yesterday's 100-metre final. Is got Shannon Murphy in the shot put circle. It'd be great to get a few pics of that. She throws, but she's away. Shannon Murphy, the junior New Zealand shot put record holder. No concern, we'll try and get her in her next round. A lot of these para throwers now being coached by John Eden, who's an interesting story in and of himself. Recently arrived back to New Zealand as a performance coach. I'll talk more about John later.
1.96 metres. It's Nicholas Keeney.
There's Lexi Maples, who we've seen in the hammer throw and the long jump earlier today. Didn't actually let go of the javelin on that occasion, so that's not a legal throw.
And our gold medalist this year in the
results to hand, the discus, junior men's discus, very exciting stuff. Connor Bell, a new New Zealand resident record of 60.05 metres. And here we go with the medal presentation. Connor Bell, the Youth Olympic Games champion, one of our future stars, a very exciting prospect. Also in second, a man to watch, Nicholas Kinney out of Northland. And third place, the local boy, Jared Neighbours from Canterbury. And great to see a very happy trio of rather athletic and strong-looking young men put a couple of skinny guys like us to shame, Chris. Did you ever dabble in the throws?
No, I didn't. No.
Hockey player, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
yep.
No, I was explaining earlier on that I thoroughly enjoyed my running, and it was an important part of training for hockey. But I was sort of middle distance cross country more than and that was about the extent of my athletics.
There's Tori Peters, having just thrown the javelin, the reigning national champion. Tori Peters competes for Otago, but lives in the Waikato these days. Personal best of 57. See a fantastic, some fantastic view of the flight there. So we're winding up this afternoon's coverage at 12:10. 52.63 for Tori Peters. Here's Lisa Adams. Exciting story in the shot put. World leader at this stage of the year. F37 athlete. Oh, it's all happening, Chris. We've got an Auckland athlete, one of the leading javelin exponents.
Yes, you have to keep your wits about you, don't you, with so much going on at an event like this. But that's the appeal of it, isn't it? From a spectator point of view, there's something, so much to watch.
It is. I'm sure the people watching at home on Facebook, YouTube, or stuff.co.nz will forgive us. Here's Taylor Clement, who's just in the last round qualified for the World Para Championships in Doha. And 47.27 for the javelin there. So I believe that throw has come from one of the Auckland athletes. He's the Southlander on the runway. That's Jessica Senior, only 18 years of age, competing in the senior women's javelin throw. A really capable up and coming. Here's Charlotte Buchanan, women's para shot put. First year in the sport, doing very well, Charlotte, out of Long Bay College.
The shot put looks so easy until you actually have to pick one up, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly.
You realise, particularly for the seniors, I find it hard enough to roll one along the ground, let alone actually throw it anywhere.
I find it hard to pick it up, but here comes Holly Robinson. What can Robinson do? Big heave. Holly Robinson out beyond 40 metres. This will be worth following. Holly Robinson, of course, has a massive ongoing competition with a Welsh competitor. The two of them very, very close together in terms of their personal best. Holly has been consistently pipped. It's just looking to see if she can nudge ahead by a couple of metres. So these domestic opportunities to come in front of a crowd and throw well are very important. Personal best of 43. So 41.44 from Holly Robinson, trending in the right direction. And that's a very good javelin throw out towards 45 metres there. That'll be Savannah Sheen of Auckland. Might be tapping on the door of her personal best, 44.68. So two competitions that we're focusing on at the moment, the para women's shot puts and then the open women's javelin, which does feature Holly Robinson, who is a Paralympic silver medalist. So Sheen out to 42 metres there. Tough conditions. They're throwing into a bit of a headwind. Is it, Chris?
Yes.
We'll go to the shot put if we can. We've got Katie Dorr, the 2016 Paralympian. F37 athlete into the circle. We'll follow the flight of that javelin. Here's Katie Dorr out of Otago, also coached by Raylene Bates. Went to Rio as a javelin thrower and then, you know,
over to the middle,
it's a tough life as a para-athlete. They've actually removed the javelin from Katie Dorr's competition schedule, so she's had to switch and become a shot putter and a discus thrower.
That's pretty tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is tough, but she's a tough athlete. Here's the Australian visitor, Claire Kiefer, one of the very best in the world in her classification, obviously for athletes of a short stature. Watch this rotational technique. Oh, and just rolls out the front of the circle. She's peppering around that 9 metre mark, which is the best she's ever thrown. And speaking of throwing well, that looks like a fantastic javelin performance. Love to know who got that one out. That's Tori Peters, your national champion. No wonder it's out around the 50 metre mark.
Well, that's the name we see a lot, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. She's coached by Deb Savage out of the Waikato, part of the same crew that Ben Langdon Bennell is in. Lisa Adams, younger sister of Val Adams, been coached by Val Adams, a very colourful character. I better not say anything too much more than that, otherwise she'll seek me out later tonight and take her revenge upon me.
She looks a lot like Val too, doesn't she, in a lot of ways?
Yeah, she does.
Leap of 5 metres 15. It's James Stain.
That's Stephanie Weatherall, the 30-year-old out of Auckland, personal best of 47.61. Coached by Mike Schofield. Taylor Clements. Once you've hit a World Championship qualifying mark and smashed your personal best by 20 centimetres, it can be hard to get up for the remaining few throws of the competition. But she's a real competitor. Many years in the pool in the high-performance swimming program. Men's pole vault medal ceremony. James Stein taking the win from Nick Southgate, and the decathlete Max Atwell, the local, picking up a sneaky bronze.
Yeah, and that was a personal best, I think, for him as well. So.
Oh, fantastic. He jumped very well at the street athletics on Wednesday night. Yes. He was quite a crowd favourite, being the local boy out of the Christchurch Old Boys Club.
I've always found the Christchurch crowds very balanced, Hamish, in that regard. They don't favour Cantabrians, in any particular way. Have you noticed that?
No, that's not been my experience at all, I would have to say, Chris. The two regions where they have a substantial but unfounded pride in their region is Canterbury and Taranaki. Two interesting places.
Yeah.
I better not say too much more than that, otherwise I'll find myself a victim of some sort of a restructure or something like that. Holly Robertson out again. She's finding it easy to go past 40, but she's not quite able to find those extra couple of metres today. She's going to go back to the fence and have a bit of a chat with Batesy. What's going on, Raylene? What do I need to adjust? What do I need to do to get those extra couple of metres?
And aren't we blessed to have people like Raylene Bates?
Oh, she's absolutely fantastic. Look, I said this yesterday, I'll say it again. We've got 36 para-athletes here competing this weekend, which is twice the amount of any other year. So it really is good. Very good. Savannah Sheen, speaking of good, out of Auckland, out beyond that 40-metre mark. A young athlete, Savannah, 18 years of age. It's good to see her stepping up and competing against the seniors.
Heading over to the podium at the moment is the winners of the men's javelin throw under 18.
Katie Dorr back into the circle.
And again,
originally a Christchurch resident, down in Dunedin for study. Oh, not bad. Peppering out around that 10-metre mark. That's an improvement from the last round.
I'm going to depart at this stage, Hamish, and hand over to an expert. So
absolute pleasure having you, Chris. Thank you very much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yes, well, thanks for the opportunity, and well done to the whole Athletics New Zealand team for putting on such a great event.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. So
Claire
Kiefer back into the circle and back into the commentary spots. Hayden Sherman, your lead commentator for the live stream at the Jennian Holmes Athletics New Zealand Track and Field Championships. Having said that, he's just gone to answer his phone. Here we go, the junior men's javelin throw results.
Gold medalist this year in the men's javelin throw under 18 with
under
a
18
throw of 58 metres 82 is from Otago. It's Ethan Walker.
Ethan Walker there from Otago, getting the javelin out to 58 metres to win the under 18 championship. So congratulations. Great geographical spread there. Otago, Canterbury and Wellington. Oh, and Ethan's off. He's probably wanting to go get back to the fence and watch Tori Peters. Oh no, he's been told he has to stay on the dais for a bit of a photo shoot. And now he's off, and here comes Tori Peters. That's elite javelin throwing, ladies and gentlemen. She's looking very good today. Whoa, 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 whoa. Not bad at all. That's beyond, surely beyond 55 metres. Tori Peters a best of 57.00. Is the official Heather Hagen just saying, hey, well done. Make sure you don't step over the line there, Tori. Oh, I eagerly await the measurement for this one. Oh, Lisa Adams New national record going up for the hug with Val. Big sister Val Adams, coach. She's very happy with that. I hope we can get some news on the performance. I might yell out at someone and see what we can get. She's absolutely ecstatic. Hey. Hooray. What happened? Is that a world record? So unofficially, a world record for Lisa Adams, 14.13 metres. Absolutely stoked. She's emotional. She's finally put it all together. She's improved her best by over half a metre. Repeated again, unofficially a world F37 world shot put record, 14.13 metres. And back for a hug again with Sister Val. She's ecstatic. She's the hottest of hot favourites for a gold medal at the upcoming World Para Championships and the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. She's, I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, I've referred to her previously as a bit of a rough diamond, but she's actually also an amazing human being. I'm really stoked. Fantastic performance. Here we go. Here's a replay. You're watching one of the bright future stars of New Zealand athletics here. Oh, and we just missed it with the coverage. Oh, unlucky. We apologise, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the measurement, and here's the reaction. Oh, look at that. Taylor Clement gets the high five, then it's over to big sister Val. Val doing a great job. Her first coaching assignment, working with her sister. I'll go back to the javelin action, but I am very, very pleased with that result of Lisa Adams. Great work. New world record. Hugging Katie Dorr from Otago. Hugging everybody, in fact.
And we have Canterbury's very own Sally Meany.
The Southlander, Jessica Senior.
Was a representative of the Commonwealth Games in both.
Let's wait and see what she's throwing. Best of 42.35. 38.55. Jessica Senior, also only 18 years of age. Medal ceremony here.
Our bronze medalist in the women's discus throw under 18.
Under 18 discus.
With a throw of 36.99 metres. It's Violet Perry.
Well done, Violet Perry. Great to see the local picking up a medal. So we will have to keep an eye on the shot put action because it's possible that Lisa's going to have another throw.
With a throw
Not quite sure what's going on.
47 metres. It's Zana Beatty.
Zana Beatty, second in the women's 18 discus.
And our gold medalist this year with a throw of 42.70 metres in the women's discus throw under 18. It's from Auckland, and it's Kaya Tupusau.
Kaya Tupusau from Auckland picking up the gold, out over 42 metres. Fantastic stuff.
Congratulations to our winners there in the women's discus throw under 18.
So just trying to ascertain what the status is in this women's para shot put. Might just leave a bit of dead air while I go and do some investigation. There's Taylor Clement talking with Val. Val helps Taylor out with her coaching alongside John Eden. High five for encouragement. So we've had a conclusion to the para shot put. I'm just welcoming into the commentary John Eden, New Zealand, or Athletics New Zealand performance coach in the throws. John, I know you don't know all of the results off by heart, but you know a couple of them. Do you want to just quickly run us through some of the highlights?
Yeah, Shannon Murphy, New Zealand record, 690 for F37 juniors under 17. Lisa Adams, world record, 1430 for F37 women. And Taylor Clement, she threw 841, which was a New Zealand record too. And some of those results A and B qualifiers for World Championships in Dubai later on in the year.
Yeah, and your athletes from Australia, Claire, looked like she was out towards her best again.
Yeah, Claire's throwing. We're trying to keep her over 9 metres. And she had 3 over 9, so it's a good base going into the World Championships for Australia.
Yeah. So while we've got you, John, I know you want to run away, but too bloody bad, mate. You've been back in New Zealand for a few months now. Do you want to just quickly run through? You've got a bit of a history. You were selected as a junior All Black, and then you had a bit of bad luck, a bit of an accident, lost your leg, and you drifted into Paralympic sport. When was your first Paralympic Games?
First Paralympic Games was for New Zealand in 1980.
Yeah, and now I've always wanted to have you up about this. You decided to, you did the dirty on us. You went and competed for Australia for a few years after that.
Yeah, well, it was just that Australia were a little bit more advanced as far as Paralympic sport was going, so I went over there in 1982, ended up at the Australian Institute of Sport on a scholarship, and so I just stayed there and just kept competing there and learning my trade, and competed up till 2000, and then retired after 2000 in Sydney.
Yeah, and it's worked out to Athletics New Zealand's gain in the end, because you transitioned into coaching. You've done very well, and now can you tell us a little about your role as a performance coach back here at Athletics New Zealand?
Yeah, so it's probably thanks to Scott Goodman, got me back here as a high performance throws coach, specialising in para athletics and trying to probably improve the program in the North Island, because Raylene Bates has been doing it for years on her own, and so I'm sort of here at the moment trying to build up a squad and help improve the standard of Paralympic throwers in New Zealand.
Yep, fantastic. You're doing a great job, so thank you very much. I know you hate this sort of stuff, John, so I do thank you very much for your time, and best of luck for your athletes for the rest of the competition.
Thanks, Hamish.
Yeah, the most reluctant interview that I'll ever do. John Eden there, Athletics New Zealand performance coach. Got the women's javelin still going on. I'll try and keep up to date. We're wrapping up soon, so we're going to do one more throw in this women's javelin competition. We had a fantastic day here, or a fantastic morning, at the Jennian Holmes Athletics New Zealand Track and Field Championships. We're wrapping up, Hayden, so you've got perfect timing. 45.76 there.
Sorry, Hamish, to leave you in the lurch. You've got a call from News Talk ZB, so
oh yeah, I saw that message. Fantastic. Look, last throw of the coverage, we've got Savannah Sheen, who's been out close to 45 metres, coached by Mike Schofield out of Auckland, coming up for a throw. Going to run through some results. Taylor Goodwin winning the under-20 long jump in 5.79.
Yeah, she looked really good. She very consistent. Lots of jumps out around that 5.70 mark.
Alyssa Baxter breaking a New Zealand T37 long jump record. 3.71 winning the junior para long jump.
Wow.
Here's Sheen. Not too bad. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's going to be a big PB if that's a legal throw for Savannah Sheen. Let's see what the scoreboard says. Quickly, I'll update you. Anna Grimaldi hitting a B qualifier for World Champs. 4.96. Great to see her on the comeback trail, but winning the senior women's long jump para, Danielle Atkinson from Waikato Bay Plenty with a best jump of 3.90, 94% of the world record. So great jumping all around there. And 51.65, big PB from Savannah Sheen.
That's getting out towards Tori Peters' national record, 57 metres.
Yeah, it really is. So credit to Savannah and credit to her coach, Mike Schofield. We're going to have some coverage here. There's Tori Peters. Missed the throw, but we'll see if we can get the measurement. But we're going to have a replay here.
has Tori recorded a mark so far, or just getting back up to...
She's been over 50.
Again, another time of 11.955.
I'll let you call the medalists from the senior women's 100 last night, Hayden.
Yeah, it was a fantastic night of 100 metre racing last night. So Zoe Hobbs, as predicted, picked out the winners. We get a couple of little replays there.
Is Zoe Hobbs.
And then so Olivia Eaton in second place, and I'm having a mind blank on third. Hamish, not sure if you can help me.
That is Brooke Summerfield,
of course,
from Waikato Bay of Plenty. And sometimes I just say things without 100% knowing they're correct, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on that one. So, look, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a little break in our coverage. Now we've got to charge the batteries, both physically and metaphorically. We really appreciate you tuning in, joining us on the stream, either on Facebook, YouTube, or stuff.co.nz. We've got a fantastic evening of action ahead of us. There's going to be a little graphic probably pop up on the screen soon to tell you. But Hayden, do you want to run us through some of the highlights that are coming up this evening?
Yep. So from 1 o'clock, we've got the 100 metre hurdles and 110 hurdles, then the 400 metres. And these are all finals as well, so you're going to want to watch it. And then the 800 metre finals will be coming up after that. And we will find out if... who's going to win out of Angie Petty and Catherine Camp, which is a really exciting one.
Very exciting. The women's shot put, obviously, hopefully with Dame Valerie as a guest presenter. So thank you once again to our naming partner, Jennian Homes, principal partner, Christchurch NZ, supporting partners, Athletics Canterbury, Lincoln University, and Aon. We really appreciate the support of all of our sponsors, and we appreciate you, our listeners. We'll be back with you at 1 p.m.
1 o'clock, yes. We'll see you shortly. Is that Tori Peters?
It is, but we'll have to leave the coverage there. So have a great afternoon, everyone. We will be back with you at 1 p.m.
This Athletics New Zealand event is proudly brought to you by Jennian Homes.